to What's Wrong with Oren's Code. Today, you are going to be a senior programmer for Privia Plumbing, an affordable plumbing organization, APO. As part of their value-based plumbing initiative, they want to understand how often plumbers return to a job site because the original fix failed. And basically the idea is rework is when a fix needs to be done before 30 days, and they want to understand how often it happens, the financial implications of such a decision, and so forth and so forth. Oren, one of the junior programmers, created logic that tries to measure when this happens, but unfortunately the code is faulty. Your job is to figure out the mistake with the code created and then create working code. And if possible, your manager would like you to use TDD to develop this code. If you're familiar, great. If not, then yeah, don't worry about it. So to get started with this notebook, you can clone your notebook and save it in your user folder. And just to get started, you go to File, you go to Clone, and you can hit the Browse. You can go to the For You, and it should get you somewhere where you want to be. And of course, always make sure that you are using your cluster. And at any point, feel free to come off mute and ask questions. In this notebook, here is your schema structure right here. And this is the definition of rework. Basically, each row represents a billing activity performed by a technician. You can have multiple in a single visit. These visits may happen one after the other, and they may happen on different days, but there won't be a 24-hour gap. And rework is when a customer calls a technician back to fix a problem after the usual issue was completed. So that means more than 24 hours after the last thing, but less than 30 days from the original start time. Okay. And you should be able to handle certain unit tests. I have them written here. In order to get started, this is the table where all the data is. And I have given you this to start. So this is going to give you a data frame. This will display the data frame, and this is going to get all the data you need. In command cells 10 and 11, you have Oren's code, which is wrong. As you can tell by the name wrong rework DF. And basically, this is displaying what comes. So what you want to do is you want to look at this, figure out why it's incorrect. And then you can see the summary here, figure out why that summary is incorrect. And yeah, management definitely has some concerns when they saw this. And then you can create your own cell to create your own code. And then in 13, here are some unit tests that you can look at to see whether your stuff runs. And yeah, I think that is it. If there are no questions, you guys can get started. Okay, so for this code, the issue is if you look at it, you see how this goes from 11 to 1213 and 1240 to 1354. The event grouping is not working. And as a result, you gain a lot more rework because individual events are being treated as a visit instead of a visit being treated as a visit. And as a result, you have a whole bunch of rework. You see all these things when really these four should all be grouped together. And then as a result, when you go down to here as a summary, yeah, you can see that nearly everything is rework for all the technicians, which, yeah, a lot more of it is rework than should be, which would, yeah, that would definitely concern management. So in order to do this correctly, the first thing you want to do is you want to create an event window, and you want to do it by customer ID and issue code, since those are that's what would determine an actual visit. If those two things need to be the same, then you can talk about it actually being a visit. If those aren't the same, then they definitely wouldn't be combined. And you're going to order by the start time. And here we're doing that. We are adding a new column that is going to grab the last end time, so you can compare the last end time to the next event start time. And then we can get the hours since the previous event. And it will be hours, so we're defined by 3,600 because that's the number of seconds in an hour. Next up, we are defining visit breaks. So if the difference between the previous end time and the new start time is 24 hours, then that is a new visit. Otherwise, it is not, and it should be the same visit. Once you do that, you'll basically add up that new visit flag, and you'll use that to create visit ID, and that's basically just going to sum up that visit flag based on those events, and that's going to give you your visit ID right there. And then what we're going to do next is you're going to get the first technician as a tech on record. So you're just going to take the first record. You're going to find out whoever the tech is, and you will use that to create a flag that has the technician ID there. And you do that, you add, and finally we are going to start aggregating things. So you'll take the minimum start date of your visit, you'll take the end date. You'll do I did a few things to make that look pretty. So total labor hours looks nice, and build amount looks nice. And then you'll aggregate by that first tech on visit to get the technician ID for each of the visits. And then we're doing something here with the build currency to make that look nice. And then once we have all of our visits assigned, we're going to decide whether or not they are a rework. And then we're creating our new window right here by that visit start time. And then we're just doing that same bit. We're going to compare visits, and if there's a 24-hour if there is a 30 less than 30 days, then we will set it to 1 that it is rework, and otherwise it is not rework. And as you can see, we get down here, we get a result. You can see we had 143 visits. And we go here, and you can see there's 11 days, so that's rework. 15 is rework. But this one is 40, not rework, so we see that our code is working. And here you can see the previous event. This is just what some of the stuff did to make it look pretty. You can see that total build amount, it just looks nice the way it is. Total labor hours, instead of going to like 10 or 15 digits, it goes to 2. So that was assigned like that. And yeah. And then here we can do a summary. And again, these results don't look very pretty either. But here we're just going to group by the technician and whether or not the thing is rework. And then we're just going to aggregate things like total hours, total build currency, and total visits. And then right here, I'm just making things look a bit pretty by adding a few columns to make the names look nice. And here is the chart you'll get. And your results should look something like this. And then just down here, there were some QC tests that you could do that you can run your stuff on, and you can do testing. And, if you don't get an error, it's going to pass. But you did need to make sure that you changed the data frame to whatever data frame you were using. And yeah, you got 9 of them here. You can look at those on your own. Maybe 6, okay. 6 down here, you can look at them on your own. And yeah, that is the exercise. I hope you had fun. I hope you learned something, and thank you for attending.